It's Odessa.
Odessa?
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for Fear the Walking Dead, and in today's video we're going to be discussing the recent episode of Season 8 of Fear the Walking Dead, and do we think it was a waste of time? Alright guys, this one's going to be doing another video today, this one's going to be doing another video for Fear the Walking Dead, and in today's video we're going to be doing another video, another discussion topic video after episode 9 of Fear the Walking Dead Season 8. The review for the episode is now out, you can go ahead and check it out for yourselves, give me your thoughts on the episode and what you thought. So, overall, what I've seen from the fans for this episode, I've never seen such a mixed bag in all my life. I really haven't. I mean, some people I saw out there calling it trash, and then I heard some other people calling it just like good, but, you know, very flawed is what I've seen. And that's generally how I kind of stand on it, is that I thought it was a good episode, narrowly just good, but it was very flawed. It had a lot of issues, it had a lot of problems with it. And, well, then it led me to this topic for today, which is this episode filler? Now, you may say, Dan, of course it's not filler. Dwight and Sherry go back to the sanctuary. How could you say that's filler? How could you say that that episode has no value, no point to it? Well, give me a chance to explain myself. This episode, in general, right? If you go from Season 8, Episode 6 to Season 8, Episode 10, Dwight says he's going to go back home. In Episode 10, Dove is there, June is there, Sherry's there, Dwight's there, nobody died, no impact, no nothing, you know? Their son died, right? And that's the overall point of this episode, is them grieving over their son. At least I'm pretty sure. I mean, the overall point is to save Dove's life, but, you know, that's a whole other plot right there. This episode in general, you don't need this episode for one simple reason. They go to the sanctuary, they leave. No deaths, no nothing. Nothing. They go back to Padre. It's not like they go to the Commonwealth. It's not like this is Dwight and Sherry's final episode of the show and they go elsewhere after the episode ends, like to Commonwealth or Alexandria or New York City, go to Dead City, something like that. There is no moving points. This is just them. They have a nice nostalgia trip for 40 minutes and they go back, you know? That is literally the episode. The villain group, the villain group that was coming after them, there is no relevance in them at all. They show up, they have a few minor pieces of dialogue, they try to kill them, they die, you know? Very cookie cutter, very simple shit. And in general, that villain group, that bandit group that attacked Dwight, that does not have an impact on the plot, you know? And here's the thing. This isn't Dwight's final episode. This isn't the end of our characters. This is literally just them having a nostalgia trip and going back, you know? And you may say, well, this episode, oh, well, wait a minute, Dan. This episode is about Sherry and Dwight grieving over their son. You telling me they can't do that back where Padre's at or somewhere in that location? Point being, this episode was only for views. I'm sorry. It was only for views. They knew that if they stuck the sanctuary in the promotional material, people would watch it. That is 100% what they did with this. That's the only reason why they did this, to get people to be like, oh, they're at the sanctuary. I better watch that. I better check this out. I can't miss this episode, because if I miss this episode, I miss everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can't get over this, man. It's a filler episode. It's a filler villain group. It's a filler plot. You don't need this. You could skip from episode 6 with Dwight to episode 10 with Dwight, and you would not be confused. You'd be like, oh, Dwight said he was going to go back home. He must have done that and realized this is where he's supposed to be. That's not an advancement in the plot. It's not at all. I guarantee they're not going to mention the sanctuary ever again. They're not going to mention that they were in the sanctuary. You know what I mean? It's such a filler plot to stretch this out. It really is. And, you know, normally I wouldn't be pissed about filler, because I'm like, all right, look, every show has filler at one point or another. But in your final episodes of the series, in the final 6 episodes, you're going to be dilly-dallying around with a random-ass villain group that has no relevance in the story. You're going to go back to the sanctuary just to leave. No one dies. No one's injured. No one does nothing. Like, nothing. Like, literally, in the episode 10 promo, Dove is just standing there with her gun out, acting like, you know, nothing happened. She's all tough again. She's all normal and this and that. Like, where's the impact of this episode? What was the message in general? They're grieving over their son? We knew that shit. Like, we knew that shit. It's just the same thing. Dwight and Sherry fight the whole episode, and then they just go back, they make up, that's it. That's literally it. Like, I don't see a driving point to this episode. I don't see a moment where the story actually goes forward. And I think that's the biggest thing that's bothering me with the episode, is that it's not bad. There's some good moments, don't get me wrong. I think there's some good moments where Dwight burns the guy in the furnace, you know, when he takes out the villains. Like, I thought it was pretty badass, but here's the thing. In your fourth last episode of your show, spending your time in a location where everything stands still, nothing is, you know, forwarding the plot, everything just stays the same. Like, and then they just go back to Padre at the end of the episode, and that's it. And you may say as well, Dan, there is a scene at the end of the episode where Strand has Tracy captive, right? That's an important scene. That scene literally is the most disjointed thing I've ever seen. And I even said that in a review. That scene feels completely separated from this episode. You could put that as the opening scene of episode 10, and that would make so much more sense, you know? And I think that's what really bothers me, is that they stuck a Strand scene in there just so that it's not a bottled off episode. It's like, yeah, look, it's a bottled off episode. You cannot convince me it's not. Not to mention, you know, like I said, this episode, Dove is just fine. June just doesn't really change as a character. Dwight and Sherry just go back. They fight a little bit and they go back. They're just at Padre anyway. There's no change in the story. Like, overall, you cannot tell me that we came out of this with a huge outcome, you know? We know they're grieving over their kid. Again, that was acknowledged. like again, tell me what forwards the plot. Like, I'm seriously, if I'm missing something, let me know. What forwards the plot in this episode? Aside from, oh, look, we're at the sanctuary, please watch our episode. Like, that's all it is. You could literally have an episode where Dove is injured and they're trying to save her life in any other location. And I did hear somebody that pointed this out too in the comments, and it's so true. Tell me the difference between 802 trying to help an injured kid, trying to get them to a safe environment so June could do all the stuff, and it's the same thing. Injured kid, dumbass that gets injured, trying to help them out. Dwight and Sherry help June get this person, you know, to help or whatever, and that's it. Like, it's literally the same thing. June tries to help an injured child with the help of Dwight and Sherry, who are struggling with their past about Negan. It's the same fucking episode. It's literally the same fucking thing. 802 is literally June tries to help a kid. She's trying to help them out, doing her, you know, whatever. Dwight and Sherry relive their past. They're affected by their son and everything like that. Like, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. 802 and 809 literally is the same episode with a different setting. It's the same fucking thing. And it's so ridiculous. You got a new random ass, you know, character, a new male character that they meet for a couple minutes and then he dies. Same thing as well. Like, there's no change. Like, there's no change. Like, what? Shrike versus, like, what? This bald guy from the sanctuary? Again, irrelevant. Not a point to it whatsoever. Like, nothing feels different aside from the setting of the episode. And I think that's the biggest thing about it that really annoys me. So, I'm going to leave it here. As much as I think this episode has some positive things, and there are some good things about the episode, the overall point to it and the overall kind of impact, it's not there. You could literally show Dwight and Sherry in 806, they lose their son, they struggle with that a little bit, and then in episode 10, Dwight is here, Dove is here, Sherry's here, June is here, and there would not be an impact. And for your fourth last episode of your series to be filler, wow, that's actually a really, really big low for Fear. That is a huge low, because overall, like I said, there is no impact. So that's my overall thoughts on that. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know, am I crazy? Do you see a huge game-changing point in this episode for your fourth last episode of Fear? Because if you see it, let me know, because I'm not catching it. So anyway, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos for Fear the Walking Dead. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Fear the Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.